Welcome to chapter 25 of my book, The Healing Road to Heaven. A great read. I hope you're enjoying the journey with me. Again, if you've not gotten a copy, you can find it on Amazon. I love chapter 25. Just going back and reading it again, I just did something for me. Here's the question. Have you ever been misdiagnosed by someone who was spiritually well-intentioned? Have you ever had someone judge you through an incorrect paradigm? If you have, I know you have, then this will speak to you. I entitled the chapter, Cracked But Still Carried. Cracked But Still Carried. And I thought about just the many times I've seen someone with a cell phone. In fact, specifically, I'm remembering talking to a friend of mine because I looked at his cell phone and I realized that the screen was horribly cracked. Talk about having a bad day. You know what it's like. Your cell phone falls out of your pocket, out of your purse, and it lands on the concrete, and you pray that cell phone, per God, don't allow it to be cracked. I was looking at his cell phone and it was horribly cracked. The screen was cracked. And I asked him, I said, hey, what happened? And he told me the story. And then I asked him, but you're still carrying it? And he said, yeah. He said, it's cracked, but it still works. Here's what I thought out of that brief conversation. So many of us walk through our lives, or doing life, we carry the scars of being cracked. We have the visible scars, and sometimes people really don't understand us because they're thinking, you know what, man, look at that. In fact, we live in a cosmetic world where everything is supposed to be perfect and made over. And what do you say when someone is visibly cracked? I thought about a passage in the book of John, and I wanted to share it with you. You know it well. It's Jesus walking, and John puts it in a very poignant way. John said, as Jesus was walking on a particular day, John said he saw. What a powerful word. He saw a man that was blind. And the Bible tells us that the disciples, they also saw him, but they didn't see him the way Jesus saw him. And you know that they misdiagnosed, they had an incorrect paradigm, because while Jesus saw him, the divine ability to see correctly, they saw him through incorrect lenses. And they said, who did sin? There's the misdiagnosis. They said, who did sin? This man or his parents, that he was born blind? He has a visible crack in his exterior. What happened? And Jesus begins to tell them, listen, you know what? This man didn't sin. His parents didn't sin. And I speak to you today because all of us will walk through those times when we are trying to explain and we come under the pressure, and it is a pressure to try to explain to people what happened. This man had been living, he didn't go blind gradually. He was born blind. He had never seen sparrows fly. He'd never seen the beauty of lilies. He'd never seen the blossoms of the spring. He was living in perpetual darkness, but his hearing was great. And please understand that. He couldn't see, but he would hear people talk about him. And you talk about a painful moment. When we hear people talk about us and they say things that they're not correct, and they fail to see us correctly. But today I want to tell you that Jesus comes to us and he sees us. He really sees us. He sees us through the divine lenses of the Holy Spirit, and he knows exactly who we are, where we are, and where we're supposed to be. In my book, here is how I talked about the encounter. With 11 simple words, he broke down the gallows of self-condemnation. Think about it. This man had probably been thinking, you know what, surely I must have done something wrong. And if not, Maybe the people before me had done something wrong. And so think about the weight of self-condemnation. And so I said with 11 simple words, he broke down the gallows of condemnation. With 11 simple words, he turned on the light in the dark and dingy dungeon of this man's mind and pointed to a door that led to the light of 10,000 rays of sunshine. Those simple words were just the beginning. The door of hope had now flung open, and a world of endless possibilities was now available. Jesus had more to say, but it began with this. He said, "This simply happened." I'm quoting from a modern translation. "This simply happened so that the power of God could be seen in him." This happened. It simply happened so that the power of God may be seen in him. And so for you today, I tell you, no matter what you're facing, you may be walking around in the culture with a visible crack, and you're tired of trying to explain it away. I want you to understand human beings have limited vision, but when Jesus saw him, he saw how he was born, he saw every day of his life, but he had this moment with him, a divine encounter, and he said, this moment happens so that the works of God, so that the power of God could be displayed in his life. Can I ask you, in what area of your life do you have a divine appointment with the Holy Spirit, where in a moment's time, everything will change? I challenge you to hold on to hope, because that moment is coming for you. That's my word for you today. Take a moment and like, share, subscribe, so that this wonderful message that I'm sharing with you today can go out there to all of your friends. Let me take a moment and pray for you. Jesus, you know us. You see us. You see us the way others are never going to be able to see us. No one's really going to appreciate our lives the way you do, because you are creator. And God, you never make a mistake. God, I'm speaking to someone today, and I just speak into that incorrect paradigm. You are not a mistake. God saw every day of your life from the moment that you were born, and you have a divine appointment with God, because what has happened in your life has not been to shame you, but so that the work of God will be revealed in your life. That's my word for you today. Chapter 25 of my book. I look forward to seeing you next Wednesday. God bless.